form.
What did you come up with?
I've tipped Beowulf in the race. I think he can go to the front and set the pace, and he's one horse that certainly does look like running the 2,500 metres right out, and that does seem to be the question mark over most of the other runners.
Graham, I just want to win.
The brilliant Brisbane colt Kinjite excelled during the Sydney Spring Carnival with his biggest win in the Spring Champion Stakes. Kinjite, an attractive-looking bay, will carry the coveted #1 saddlecloth in the Derby. John Marr has a two-pronged attack on the Blue Ribbon event. Ready to explode, the winner of the Moonee Valley Stakes in September has developed into a top-line stayer who was most unlucky in last week's Cox Plate. Stablemate Star of the Realm could easily steal his thunder. Star of the Realm has a big reputation who looks suited by the distance. But could it be another Kiwi victory? Beowulf, the brilliant winner of the Geelong Derby trial, is one of 3 representatives from the Dominion. Mac Robert ran a slashing race for 3rd in last week's Herald Sun Vase at Moonee Valley. Mac Robert is a stablemate of last year's Melbourne Cup runner-up, the Phantom.
And Green Fever will get second, just ahead of Mac Robert.
The 3rd horse from New Zealand is the relatively unknown My Armageddon, who has come here for 1 race only. The favourite for the Victoria Derby is Naturalism, who thrashed his opposition in the same race Mac Robert finished 3rd in last week. The colt shows heaps of potential and is the one they have to beat. David Hayes will line up Turgeman in the 2,500 metre race. The stable produced 6 winners on Derby Day last year, but the Derby itself eluded them. It's one they want to win. Sydney stayer Green Fever has hit form at the right time. His rivals could be green with envy if the breaks go his way in the 1991 Victoria Derby.
Well, there's a few of the favourites, and we'll have a look at all of them in a little while, but you don't have to be a successful trainer to win $1 million. One of the items we'll be bringing you on Melbourne Cup Day is the drawing of horses in the Tats Melbourne Cup Sweep. Now, Tattersalls have been running this lottery for 108 years now, and the first prize this year, if you're lucky enough to draw the Melbourne Cup winner, will be $1 million. Unbelievable, isn't it? There's over 11,000 prizes in total, and the tickets are $15 each. Now, if you haven't got your ticket yet and you can't buy one locally, here's a number to ring: 008 801 089. 008 801 089. At around 2:15 on Cup Day, we'll tell you which 24 lucky tickets have drawn a horse in the Melbourne Cup and what those horses are. Then all you have to do if you've drawn one of the 24 is watch the Melbourne Cup live on Channel 10, and you could pick up $1 million.
Of the Melbourne Cup. In 1977, the idol of the racing public, Reckless, had won the Sydney, Adelaide and Brisbane Cups. But his quest for the Melbourne Cup faltered as the Cummings-trained Golden Black made it Cup win number 6 for Bath.
The rails, Golden Black just in front. Golden Black will win the Cup.
Legends of the Melbourne Cup, proudly presented by Honda. And you can join all the excitement of the 1991 Melbourne Cup Carnival here on 10. Absolutely vital. You can see the 2,500 metre start, and it is only 200 metres short of the finish. They in fact used to start the Derby 100 metres from the finish line, but it's still a very short run to the first turn. Outside barriers here are a distinct disadvantage. If you're drawn in the first half dozen or so, well, that's a big help as you get to the first turn, because it is quite helter-skelter down to the first bend. Well, Graham, the candidates have come into the mounting yard. Just before we join you to have a look at them, Dan Malicki checks out the latest tote figures on race 7.
Kinjite in the Derby, Pete, $4.45. Ready to Explode, $3.65. Naturalism, $2.05. Natchez, 26. Beowulf, $3.65. $39, $56 and $8 respectively for numbers 7, 8, 9. Number 10 is Tresoro at $29.45. Turgeman, $14. $3.15 Star of the Realm. Fair odds for 13, 14 and 15. Mac Robert well in the betting at $4.35. Time to go, $6.75. And big odds for Rob Moore, number 18. The win pool shows us that there is $576,000 in the win pool and almost $370,000 in the place. That's the Victoria Derby. Pete, you're about to go through the form of the horses.
Yes, and just before we do that, and we start off with number 1, Kinjite. Well, he won the Spring Champion Stakes 2 runs ago, and then he ran down the track in the Cox Plate at Moonee Valley. And Kinjite, well, I saw him work here on Thursday morning, and I didn't think that he finished his work off with a lot of zip. I know he's in the betting, but he can go around without mine, but it wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong if he does win, Graham.
No, it's not easy, Peter. Number 2, Ready to Explode with Mick Dittman aboard, certainly has a score on the board. He defeated Terce in the Bill Stud Stakes, 3rd, finishing fast in the Caulfield Guineas, and then a very good 6th in the Cox Plate. Looks well, trained to the minute by John Maher. Certainly should be there at the finish.
Here's Naturalism number 3, about to come up on your screens. He had a bit of a problem during the week. Believe it or not, he had a touch of tinea, and you saw a shot of him before working with some cotton wool, like a breastplate. But he's over that now. He's showing $2.05 for the win. His win at Moonee Valley last start was that of a very good racehorse. He sprinted away from them in the straight and won by 4 lengths, and he is certainly amongst the top chances. He's run in the Caulfield Guineas before that, was excellent.
Number 5 is Natchez with Darren Gauci aboard. He would surprise if he was won. His recent form has been disappointing. Only 8th in the BMW Vars at Moonee Valley last week. Was an ordinary run. He was beaten nearly 12 lengths on that occasion. He'd have to improve a lot to be in the finish.
Both Graham Kelly and myself have gone for this fellow, number 6, Beowulf, the New Zealander, a brilliant winner in the Geelong Derby trial at his last start. He lobbed along over the 2,200 metres and recorded 2:15.7, only a tick outside the record. Larry Cassidy is the rider today. He'll probably be sitting up on the pace. I don't think he'll lead, but if he's allowed to lob along, I think he'll win the Derby.
Number 7, Good and Fast with Kevin Forrester aboard, is a roughie in the race. He finished 5th in the Geelong Derby trial, but he's well beaten on that occasion. He's stepping up further in class today, and Good and Fast will find this difficult.
Another one that I think may find it a little tough is number 8, Our Bold Cruiser. He won 4 starts ago. He's showing odds of $60 on the Victorian Tote. Simon Marshall, the rider, I don't think he'd be going up with too many hopes.
9, Mango's Lunch with Harry White aboard is a question mark over him. He bolted in with the Clark Stakes at over 1,400 metres here, 3 starts back. Has been disappointing at 2 subsequent runs, only 6th in the Derby Trial Stakes at Geelong, but if he returned to his best, Mango's Lunch could be a chance.
Number 10 is Tresoro. He's a grey, this fellow, a dark grey. And there you can see him with Jimmy Cassidy in the saddle. Looks particularly well. He beat Racool here at Flemington 2 runs ago. Finished in the middle of the field behind Beowulf in the Derby trial. It's hard to see him turning the tables on the New Zealander.
11, Turgeman has the services of Michael Clark, but he's drawn out in barrier 18. That'll make his task difficult. He ran a reasonable 4th behind Naturalism in the BMW Vars last week, but from the wide barrier, he has the job ahead of him.
Now here's an interesting runner, number 12, Star of the Realm. He's got the blinkers on for the first time today. He's a boom horse, but through circumstances beyond his control, he hasn't been in the winner's stall for quite a while. He's been balloted out a couple of times. His last run was 2nd to Lady Purpose at Caulfield. He flew home over the 2,000 metres, gave the indication he'll get the extra trip. Stephen King has elected to ride him in preference to Ready to Explode, and of course Stephen is having a wonderful spring. Let's hope that's appointed to Stephen's chances aboard Star of the Realm here in the Derby.
13, Green Fever has Darren Beedman aboard. A respectable run when 2nd to Naturalism in the BMW Vars last week. Beaten about 4 lengths, but quite a good effort. He's won over 1,600 metres in Sydney. He looks well. He's a likely type, but probably find the class too difficult.
14, The Lane Shadow, one trained by Bart Cummings, impressed with the 2nd here behind Mango's Lunch in that race that Graham was talking about. But then she lost form and she finished down the track in the Caulfield Guineas and also the Derby trial, or he, I should say, A Lane Shadow. And, well, he'd need to improve on those last 2 appearances.
Number 15 is My Armageddon with Shane Dye aboard, and that seems to be the only real advantage he has. His recent form has been ordinary, and it would be a major surprise if he could win this race.
The one that Cracker spoke about is number 16. There's Time to Go, number 17, but we'll go back to number 16 just for a moment, and that is Mac Robert. As Danny mentioned before, there he is. He's a stablemate to the Phantom, runner-up in the Melbourne Cup last year. And after coming from New Zealand, his first up Australian appearance was good behind Naturalism. He went to the post pretty well. He'll be running on.
Number 17's Time to Go, another one of the Bart Cummings horses. Greg Charles in the saddle. He's an improving type, 3rd in the Geelong Derby trial and bred to run the distance. And
one that is basically no hope, I would say, is number 18, Rob Moore. But remember last year a maiden won the Derby, Fire Oak. I wonder if it could possibly happen again. So there's the field for the Derby as they go to the start, led out by Kinjite. Dr. Turf with his last-minute thoughts. Docky?
I'm going to stick with Kinjite and Beowulf, Pete. Gee, Beowulf's muscled up. He looks really well here today. He might take some running down. Naturalism looks a little bit short in the betting for mine. He didn't beat much at the Valley, under the odds for mine. And, of course, the 2 Mars horses got very good chances.
So there's the scene before this huge crowd at Flemington. A magnificent sight as these 3-year-olds, Australia's best, head up to the 2,500 metre start for the Hong Kong Bank Victoria Derby. And you'll see it live and exclusive on Network 10 after this short break.
Go into the gates. He's set. Turgeman is still away. In fact, he's the only one away from the line, and he'll start from the outside stall. Turgeman trained by David Hayes, jockey Michael Clark. And attendants have him at the moment. Gary Willits is in the box with me. Gary.
He's pulled a plate or sprung a plate. I think the blacksmith will be going over. I think they'll have to do a bit of repair work to his shoe here. Yeah,
Michael Clark's jumping off. And there will be a slight delay to the Derby. We'll have a look at the totes. $4.20 for Kinjite, $3.40 Ready to Explode, $2 Naturalism, $27 Natchez, $3.65 Beowulf, $45 Good and Fast, $64 Our Bold Cruiser. Not hopeless either. Mango's Lunch $9.95. Tresoro at $28.15. Turgeman $14.65. He's the horse being replated at the moment. $3.20 Star of the Realm. $20 even for Green Fever. $31.45 Elaine's Shadow. $35.05 My Armageddon. Mac Rob at $4.65. Time to Goes at $7.40. And massive odds for number 18 Rob Moore, the rank outsider of the field. There's Michael Clark. What do you do in these situations when you've got a horse running in a Group 1 race like the Derby and you have to be replated and the other 17 are standing in the stalls?
Well, I'd rather be the one being replated than the one sitting in the stalls, Dan, because often your horse can become a bit unsettled, or if you're in there too long. It's not so bad over the Derby distance, but what happens to the people at home that realise what I'm saying, when you spring a plate, they race in the racing plates, and often when the horse goes a little bit sideways, one leg or hoof will just catch the other one and they'll just spring that plate a little bit. You can see Ernie here, he's getting the nails. He'll most probably pull that plate off. Well, he's got the plate off already, so it must have come off. And you'll see he'll get it and make sure it fits properly. It's just like when you go to get a pair of shoes on yourself. Now it seems to be pretty right. He's going to start putting those nails in right away.
The break sort of here, Gary, what would it do to the other horses that are in the stalls at the moment?
Well, over this distance, I don't think it'll make a lot of difference. In a sprint race, the horses are generally a bit more on the go, and you know, you can get a bit edgy yourself, but most of these horses seem to be standing very well, actually. Ernie won't be long. He's pretty good at this job. He's been doing it a long time, but you know, he'll put them in, then he'll make sure the nails are bent over properly. He'll get the file out and file them down so that, you know, they don't catch on any other leg or catch another horse.
Great shot from the Channel 10
and the job will be,
too, isn't it?
He'll get it done pretty quick. He'll mostly just bang them all down now, put the clinches on, then he'll pull that leg out in front and file it down.
So you sound like you could have a job after riding horses?
You've got to have a pretty good back and pretty good to do this.
Now, they're excellent here, the farriers at Flemington. In fact, all of the metropolitan race courses, their job, especially in this situation, has got to be done very quickly when the other horses are in the gates.
So he'll get that out now, and he'll just make sure all the clinches are down properly. Then he'll get the rasp and just raft it down, and Michael will most probably get on the horse and be ready to go in, let's say, about a minute and a half.
That's Turgeman, the horse that's being replated at the barriers before the start of the Hong Kong Bank Victoria Derby. Group 1, $778,000 race. The farrier's work almost completed. The plate is back on. Now he's just rasping them down.
He's rasping it down now, and if he doesn't, that track look magnificent.
For people at home, they must feel like this particular horse is in their lounge room.
Well, I hope so.
And the horse...
all those people at home and in hospitals, I wish you all, you know, to get well soon. And I know a lot of people, when I've been in hospitals, how important it is, and I hope Channel 10's giving you good coverage here.
And we've got 3 more big days to go after Derby Day. The Cup Day Tuesday, Oaks Day Thursday, and Final Day, Honda Stakes Day, next Saturday. So we're almost 1/4 of the way through, but this is the feature event on the first day of the Racing Carnival here on Channel 10. It's minutes late, in fact about 4 minutes late. But very shortly we'll be able to see Michael Clark get back aboard Turgeman, and he'll be let up into the gates. Well, these other horses have been standing up there for about 4 minutes now, Gary.
They've been very good. Often the only thing you have to worry, like when you draw in close, like the boy that's drawn one, and they always start, the stalls are actually in 2 banks, and they'll start loading you. Say like the field today in this derby, I think there's 16 runners. Well, they'll start from 1 to 7 and then go from 8 to 16. And the boys that are in first, often your horses will be there a bit too long, and you just got to gee them up a bit just when the last horse comes in again.
Well, the last horse going in is Turgeman. The farrier has completed his work. Michael Clark is about to get back aboard Turgeman, who will start from the extreme outside barrier. 17 horses engaged in the Hong Kong Bank Victoria Derby, Group 1 blue ribbon event, 778,000 in prize money. And the light is on. And they're off and racing in the Victoria Derby of 1991. Rob Moore, the bolter, won the start from Kinjite. Getting out smartly was B.O. Wolf, and Elaine Shadow going through with Good and Fast, Green Fever wider. Our Bold Cruiser behind them. Very deep was Turgeman as they go past the winning post the first time. Ready to Explode was caught out a little bit deeper as the Kiwi B.O. Wolf went to the fence. Green Fever tried to run off out of the straight. Took Turgeman a little bit wider than he wanted to go, and Ready to Explode was slightly interfered with. And as they go along the Maribyrnong side of the track, 2,000 metres to travel, and B.O. Wolf in front by a length and a quarter to Our Bold Cruiser. Good and Fast was third. Green Fever went up on the outside fourth, and then Ready to Explode. Turgeman wide. Elaine Shadows running seventh, a length away Naturalism, and then came Kinjite, followed by Mango's Lunch and Rob Moore on the fence. Time to goes around them three deep, a length and a half to Star of the Realm, followed by Tresoro. My Armageddon, Mac Robin, and a length and a half away Natchez last of all. A good speed on as they go to the 1600, and B.O. Wolf in front, led by 2 lengths. Green Fever was second. A length away third was Good and Fast on the inside of Our Bold Cruiser. A length and a half to Ready to Explode on the inside of Turgeman, followed by Naturalism on the outside of Elaine Shadow, and going around them three deep was Time to Go, followed by Tresoro three wide. Kinjite on the inside of Mango's Lunch, a length and a half to Star of the Realm. Rob Moore the fence, a length and a half away Mac Robert. My Armageddon was second last, and Natchez at the rear, about 15 to 20 lengths off the lead. Leads by 3 lengths to Green Fever, a length and a half away Good and Fast in third placing. They were followed by Time to Go, sneaking up a little bit closer from Our Bold Cruiser Turgeman. Around them three wide was Tresoro. Ready to Explode's over on the fence, and then Mango's Lunch, followed by Elaine Shadow. Kinjite well back with Naturalism, still 8 lengths off the lead, and they were followed by Star of the Realm, Mac Robert, My Armageddon, Natchez towards the tail, and Rob Moore under the whip. 600 metres left to travel. B.O. Wolf in front by 2 lengths to Green Fever. Around the outside, Mango's Lunch is starting to run on from Time to Go. Then Turgeman, Our Bold Cruiser, Ready to Explode, Star of the Realm behind horses, and then Good and Fast and Kinjite. 400 metres to travel, and the leader is B.O. Wolf, a length and a half in front. Getting out and running on now was Kinjite, Ready to Explode down the outside, and here comes Star of the Realm. 300 metres to travel, B.O. Wolf in front. The 2 stablemates Ready to Explode and Star of the Realm move up to claim him, and then Kinjite. Star of the Realm's taken the lead, 200 metres to go in the Derby. Ready to Explode can't match him. Flashing home was Naturalism late, but Star of the Realm's going to win the Derby. Star of the Realm draws clear and wins 2 lengths. Naturalism very unlucky second, third Ready to Explode. Then Kinjite followed in by B.O. Wolf and Mac Robert. Well back Time to Go, Elaine Shadow, Mango's Lunch, Green Fever, Good and Fast and Natchez. Then Our Bold Cruiser, Tresoro, Rob Moore, Turgeman and My Armageddon back at the tail.
Well, I think we might hear a little bit more about this. I think we might have another protest here.
Any particular reason, Gary?
Well, I just noticed that Naturalism was coming out from behind them, and Star of the Realm went outside him, and there was quite a bumping duel went on for a good 100 yards or so.
He was very unlucky, Naturalism. I can't say any more than that. But 12, 3 and 2, approximates 3.15 and 1.25 for the first horse, number 12. Second, Naturalism across the line, 85 cents, and $1.20 for number 2, Ready to Explode. John Marr looked to have the Quinella halfway up the straight, and this is at about the 300 metres point, Gary. You see in the yellow colours almost in the middle of the picture is Ready to Explode, and claiming him now Star of the Realm in the white cap, while Naturalism's got caught up in the wash.
Yeah, well, Naturalism was nearly out from behind those horses, just about the 400 metre mark, and then Stephen King had sort of had a right, I suppose, to hold him there, but I think, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if a protest doesn't go in, but you know, Stephen must be feeling really pleased with himself. He had the choice of the 2 rides and he's picked the right horse.
Well, he was right as far as those 2 are concerned. He has made the right decision. What a spring he's had, winning the Caulfield Cup, the Turnbull Stakes, the McKinnon Stakes, and he's won the Victoria Derby on Star of the Realm.
Oh, he's had a wonderful spring, but he's got a wonderful career in front of him. He's just, you know, got it all before him.
He always shaped as a good staying sort Star of the Realm, and by golly, you don't often see them finish much stronger than that in the 2,500 metre race, especially at this time of the year for 3-year-olds.
Well, that's right. Like here you see him coming now, and he's gone up alongside his stablemate, and they've drawn away, but he's just gone right away on with the job.
B.O. Wolf, I thought, had every chance. He was rated perfectly in front, but just wasn't quite good enough on the day. Kinjite ran a cheeky race for 4th, and 5th home was number 6, and that was B.O. Wolf, and they cleared right away from the rest of the field. Mac Robert was making up ground in the late, but Naturalism was flashing home at the end, and he's being able to grab second place in the last few strides. Star of the Realm's winning margin would be about 2 to 2.5 lengths. at the finishing line. Naturalism getting second in front of Star of the Realm stablemate, and that was Ready to Explode. Gary, the horses are coming around. Can Dr. Grace, a winner of over $2.5 million in prize money, run away with the Dalgety? He is the class horse of the race and was most unlucky in the Cox Plate. He's an undeniable chance. The Pat Highland trained Nay Rizzy has come to form at the right time. The Caulfield Cup runner-up of 1989 is a big chance in both the Dalgety and the Cup. Or will the David Hayes trained Rashik shoulder his way into the Melbourne Cup field with a victory in the Dalgety? Rashik was third in the Moonee Valley Cup last week, but needs to win today to guarantee a Cup start. Hayes also has Alpha Bell engaged. The import has been swimming lately to fit him for Tuesday's classic race. The Tommy Smith trained Maharaja is a very athletic animal who promised much but delivered little at Moonee Valley, but it could be wise to give him another chance. The Cummings trained Weekend Delight has been specifically set for the Melbourne Cup. The Oaks winner from last year is ready to show something special in the Dalgety. The grey Rural Prince on the right is a long shot tip. The Kiwi won the Grafton Cup this year, the same race that Kensai picked up before winning the Melbourne Cup in 1987.
Yes, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Weekend Delight myself.
This protest over and done with. What about in the Dalgety? How are they looking?
From the top, Peter, Dr. Grace 465, 190, Flying Luskin 14.23's out, 4 Nay Rizzy 345, Grooming at $4.25, 6 Magnolia Hall 385, very open race, 7 Rashik 220, 8 Maharaja 540, 9 is Weekend Delight $3.70, number 10 Lee's Bid 11.30, and number 11 is Pontiac Lash 12.05, 12 Rural Prince 18.50, 13 Alphabel 17.90, 14 Delmar 65.80, 15 Corchuban 17.20, and Wasdak Hill number 16 $34.60. That's the tote readout for the 1991 Dalgety. At this stage it's due at 4:45, but who knows when it will be run. The decision on the protest second against first for alleged interference between the 450 and the 400 metre point is on now for the Victoria Derby, Pierre.
Yes, Dan, and as soon as anything does happen, we'll keep you up to date. And Tim, as we come back to you, in the overall scheme of things, a protest in the major race is pretty big, but there could be something even bigger. Now, what if the protest is upheld? Star of the Realms rider Stephen King is maybe found guilty of careless riding, and I don't want to presuppose anything, but if the interference is there, Stephen King is down to ride Let's Elope in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday.
Well, Peter, have you ever seen a day like this? Well, maybe before, but certainly in recent times, I can't remember this sort of controversy on any race day.
No, it's one of those things. Carnivals just seem to attract their fair share of controversy. And I remember back just before I started coming to Melbourne Cups in 1969, sitting at home listening to the radio 39 minutes before the Melbourne Cup when the favourite Big Faloo was scratched. These carnivals, they just bring out the drama. And, well, there's plenty of drama going on down here. And as I said, Tim, as soon as we hear anything, we'll be standing outside the steward's room door and we'll bring you the result of the protest as soon as it comes to hand.
Thank you, Peter Donegan. We'll take a break. You are watching the Melbourne Cup Carnival live and exclusive to Network 10. Stay with us.
Australia. So vast yet so short on history. When Australians talk of national institutions, we could be accused of talking through our wide-brimmed hats. But there's an exception, this astonishing exception. From the man on the land and the pinstripe broker to John in Cell Block C, they'll all sing you songs about the Melbourne Cup. How it's run on the first Tuesday in November. How for a tick over 3 minutes it stops a nation. How it's beyond floods and droughts and stock market crashes and the law of the land, and that the Cup is not simply a horse race. It began in 1861, a little more than a week after Burke and Wills had lost their race for life in the harsh north. Archer, who walked all the way from Nowra in New South Wales, won the first Cup and the second. So from the beginning, the race had a precedent. Remember, unlike the derbies, more times than not, the Cup is won by unfashionable, slab-sided gildings, but never by a weak horse. It has no pattern, no rule. Carrying the grandstand weight of 9 stone 10 with mud up to its hocks, the legendary Peter Pan escaped a near wipeout to win in 1934. Yet Tulloch, an out-and-out champion, the best since Phar Lap, toiled so far behind those hacks in 1960. It's about emotion and some very sorry tales and dozens to warm your heart. In 1973, Frank Reyes, one of 14 children, his body patched up from fall after fall, won on Gala Supreme. At the presentation ceremony, 103,000 racegoers choked back emotion as the battling jockey broke down and wept for joy. For those few minutes, for that day, for that chapter in history, Francis Norman Reyes was a national hero. Insanity prevailed in 1983 when Kiwi performed as a lightning bolt from the back of the field in some of the weirdest, wildest and most wonderful scenes in Cup memory. Every year its history grows and the world grows closer to our institution. In this last decade of the 20th century, we've already cheered one champion, the mighty Kingston Rule. So big, so beautiful, yet so bold. Every year, it's your day. It's Australia's day. It's the first Tuesday in November, the day they run the Melbourne Cup.
They sure do, and we'll bring you every action-packed moment of the Cup and every other race on the program in a very big day of racing on Tuesday morning, and that's from 9 in the morning right through until racing finishes. Well, there is the winner, protest dismissed, of the Victoria Derby. Let's go and find out what the local divvies are. Here's Danny Malecki.
On the Hong Kong Bank Victoria Derby, Tim, let's check them around Australia. In Victoria, Star of the Realm, 3.15 and 1.25. 3 Naturalism, 85 cents. 2 Ready to Explode, $1.20. Quinella paid $5.75, and the trifecta, $54.85. 12, 3 and 2 on the Derby.
Okay, after all the drama, the presentations are ready.
And the same as the Derby, at the 2,500 metre start, a big dash down to the first turn, then they have that long straight run along the riverside before starting the turn at the 1,400, and then they'll straighten up for home at the 450, and only the strong normally win Dalgettys. Gee, they're going to have to be strong to beat Let's Elope in the Melbourne Cup.
Soon get a start. The light is on and they're off and racing. Now a little bit slow to begin was Alpha Bell. Missed it about a length and a half, and Delmar was slow out. Wasdak Hill, the horse from South Australia, is wanting to lead early. Magnolia Hall going up on the outside to try and take it on, and will succeed in doing so past the winning post the first time. Rashik over on the inside, going around at Weekend Delight, Flying Luskin 3 deep. Out deeper was Korchu Band from Dr. Grace Maharaja. Rural Prince on the inside of Pontiac Glass. A length and a half to Grooming, and on the fence was Alpha Bell. 2 lengths to Delmar Rizzi, and 2.5 lengths away Lee's Bid. 2,000 metres to travel. Magnolia Hall in front wants to pull just a little bit. Wasdak Hill in second placing, and Flying Luskin going up to make a line of 3 as again Wasdak Hill and Korchu Band. A length and a half to Dr. Grace and Maharaja, followed by the grey Rural Prince. Alpha Bell on the inside of Pontiac Glass. 2 lengths to Grooming, 5 lengths away Rizzi, 1.5 to Delmar, and a length away Lee's Bid. Last of all, 20 lengths off the lead. At the 1,600 metres point, Wasdak Hill's racing on the outside of Magnolia Hall. Their joint leaders by a length and a half to Weekend Delight. Flying Luskin's out 3 deep, and Rashik's had the run of the race. 2 lengths away Korchu Band, a half to Maharaja, 3/4 Dr. Grace. Rural Prince going around them 3 wide. A length away Alpha Bell from Pontiac Glass. 1.5 to Grooming, 4 to Rizzi, a length and a half to Delmar, and last of all Lee's Bid. Still 15 to 20 lengths off the leader Wasdak Hill as they go past the 1,000. Wasdak Hill leads a neck to Magnolia Hall. A length away Weekend Delight. 1 away Rashik has had a charmed run. Then Flying Luskin going around them out wider on the track was Rural Prince, followed by Maharaja. Behind them Korchu Band, Dr. Grace, Pontiac Glass. Alpha Bell was over on the inside from Grooming, 3 lengths away Rizzi, 1.5 to Lee's Bid, and Delmar not going well last of all. 700 metres to go. Wasdak Hill just in front. Second on the inside Magnolia Hall kicking through, and then Weekend Delight. Rural Prince going up wide. A length further back to Rashik getting off the rails. Flying Luskin's out of it now, and then Maharaja around the outside Rural Prince. Then Dr. Grace. Grooming taken deep, and Pontiac Glass as they enter the straight. 500 metres to go on the Dalgety, and Rashik cruised up to hit the front for Magnolia Hall. Weekend Delight's under pressure behind them, then Maharaja, Flying Luskin, Rural Prince, Dr. Grace running on, and then Pontiac Lassen grooming down the outside. Rashik in front, Magnolia Hall kicking back on the fence. Maharaja getting out, then Dr. Grace, Alpha Bellin down the outside grooming. Rashik in front, Maharaja trying to pick it back from Dr. Grace. Rashik's in front and he'll go into the Melbourne Cup. Rashik's going to win the Dalgety by a length and a half. Seconds tied, Dr. Grace got there and nose in front of Alpha Bellin Maharaja. Then grooming, put it in by Nay Rizzi. Pontiac Lass behind those, and then Flying Luskin, Magnolia Hall. Weekend Delight well back in the field with Korchu Band. Then Rural Prince and Delmar was that kill, and Lee's Bid was back at the tail of the field. Winner of the Dalgety is the favourite, number 7, Rashik. Expect $2.15 for the win and 95 cents for the place. This is on the Victorian Tote, $1.60 for number 1, Dr. Grace, and $3.85 for number 3.